What's going on, everyone? So, JJ Redick being the new head coach, we can now start to put our foot on the gas a little bit, right? Obviously, you got the draft right around the corner, literally in a couple days. Uh, JJ Redick's and the Lakers, I hope, got to start rounding out the coaching staff. Obviously, JJ Redick, he can start putting, pen to paper, so to speak, start, getting his schemes together, kind of start figuring out, okay, what type of players am I looking for the type of offenses that I want to run, right? Like the defensive schemes, what's out there, kind of work with, I'm sure Rob Pelinka and the draft department and stuff, scouting department on which draft pieces may make the most sense and all that jazz, right? I'm really excited that we can start moving forward in that direction. I think JJ Redick is going to have some success, right? Obviously, it's the first year. There's going to be, some hiccups. I'm sure there'll be a learning curve here and there, but I think ultimately he will have some success. Something that I've talked about is I really do think it hinges on you got to have a proper staff to help uplift him, right? If you just have inexperience, basically front to back on that bench, I don't know. Again, is there always a possibility? Sure. But I think the likelihood is just that much smaller. Not really worried about the on-court stuff with JJ. I'm more worried about just kind of everything else that goes on behind the scenes, right? How will he be able to manage and get everyone bought in? How will he kind of be able to deal with just all the noise in the background, right? It'd be nice to have a couple of, veteran coaches or, some level of experience on the bench, which the Lakers, based on reports, are really trying to do. Trying to get, like a Scott Brooks and, trying to get a Terry Stotts. Can they get those two guys on the bench? They actually want multiple guys per reports that were former coaches if they can, right? They really want to get some experience and as much experience as possible around JJ Redick, which I love. Got to have success on the bench. It starts with the coaching staff. Obviously, the players are the ones that have to execute. Obviously, the players are the ones that, they have to deliver, right? Like you could be the best coach ever. And if you don't have the talent, then it's irrelevant, which is the second thing, right? JJ Redick is going to do his job out there. He can start putting everything together, right? The Lakers got their head coach. Well, now it's time for Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, and the Lakers organization to do their job, right? They need to now put together a roster that is comparable and competitive enough to really put JJ Redick in the best position to succeed, right? Because, again, look at Greg Popovich. He's looked at as one of, if not the greatest coaches ever, and he has been coaching a bottom-feeding team the last few years. Why? Because he doesn't have the talent. Just doesn't have the talent, right? Because you need talent. You need a team that is good enough to compete. Doesn't matter how good your coach is. Doesn't matter how prepared he is. Doesn't matter what his offensive or defensive schemes are. Doesn't matter. If you don't have the talent, you're not going to have success, right? Players are the ones that still have to execute and properly perform and hit shots. And, a coach can't control those things. The coach can only do what he can do, right? He can only manage the game. It's up to the players to actually play the game. So we really do need to put together a roster. I think that is something that really needs to be evaluated. And I hope that, JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka really sit down and kind of hash out, okay, like, what is the offensive sets here? What are the offensive schemes? What's the plan, right? And have JJ really map out, okay, we need these type of players. We need this. We need that. Okay, what do you think of the idea of like a third side? Should we get a DeJounte Murray? Should we get a Trae Young? Should we get a this? And listen to JJ, right? No, not Trae, because I still want to keep this guy. Right? I still want to keep Reeves or whatever, right? Where we might have to give up him for that. So, let's go and get a DeJounte Murray, right? You can get a Murray, but don't get a Trae or whatever, right? Like the point is just we need to put talent around. Because last year, right, like the roster looked good on paper. And look, the consensus was, even from people that weren't big Laker guys, the consensus was that, like, hey, if they have the right matchups, they could be in the NBA Finals. Right? Like, even after they were eliminated by Denver, and we saw what the other teams looked like, it was still thought, like, hey, if we would have played the Dallas's bracket, we would probably be in the NBA Finals instead of Dallas. So, again, like the roster, I think, is it bona fide lock? Do you look at the Lakers roster now and go, oh, that roster is a top 5 roster in the league? No. Right? As currently constructed. And I made a video diving into, like, should the Lakers stand pat, kind of run it back, or should they, like, add some other pieces? I think that the Lakers need to kind of retool and revamp this roster. Right? I understand Lakers, they want to keep as many young guys as possible and whatnot. But to me, the Lakers, they have to pick a direction. Right? Are we kind of pushing our chips in and trying to win right now and make JJ one of the few coaches? He'd be what, the 6th coach ever, I think, in history to win in his rookie season. Are we trying to do that? Or are we trying to, hey, let's put together a competitive roster, but we want to keep young guys. Like, we want to be more focused on the future, because you can't really do both. I mean, you could, but, I don't, like, what does that look like? Right? Like, are you going to be able to keep, all your young guys? Are you going to be able to keep Reeves and Vando and Rui and all these guys and still pull off trades? Probably not. Right? So, again, like, could you just run it back? Sure. I hope that they don't do that. Right? I think that, I don't think that the Lakers need a ton. Right? Like, I don't think the Lakers need basically, like, hey, keep D'Lo, or not D'Lo, keep LeBron, AD, and Max Christie and rebuild the entire roster. We need 13 other guys or 12 other guys, right? 12 other guys. We have to get those other 12 guys. Like, no, I don't think we need that. Like, I think you got LeBron, AD. If you can keep Reeves, fine. Like, if you can pull off some real trades, right? Fine. Keep Reeves, keep Max Christie, right? So there's 4 guys there. Keep Maxwell Lewis, because I like him and his upside and potential. Can you keep Taurean Prince? Right, so there's basically 6 guys there. And then, you really need another, probably 3 guys. Can you get 3, like, real quality contributors? Can you get, whether you're drafting Zach Edey through the draft, and it's like, okay, well, there's our center, our backup center. Okay. Now let's use the money. Let's use the mid-level, the taxpayer mid-level, or if D'Lo leaves, we got the full mid-level. Let's use that to try to get, the best 3-and-D guy we can get, or the best point guard we can get, or whatever, right? Like, it just depends on how the draft shapes up, right? Can you go and make a trade for DeJounte Murray, right? So now you basically got your backup center, you got your point guard for now and the future. And then it's like, okay, can we find, like, that two-way guy? Can we get that perimeter guy? Can we convince a KCP to come back or something? I don't know. You never know, right? You never know who's really out there. But to me, the Lakers, like, the biggest factor now is the roster. Got to round out and build a quality, competitive roster, right? Like, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. I still think that the Lakers, if they can, will try to go get that other star. In a perfect world, it is like a DeJounte Murray, because he's cheap enough to where you can still do other things and make other moves. And, like, we really need D'Lo to opt in, which I actually think is very likely given the landscape and, kind of the teams that are out there that may potentially want him. So if D'Lo opts in, right, like, can you turn him into a valuable asset? That's $18.6 million. You add in, a Gabe Vincent, there's another $11 million. There's, basically almost $30 million. You basically get to $30 million because D'Lo's, like I said, 18.6, 18.7. And then Gabe Vincent's 11. So you're talking $29.7 million, right? So you're talking basically $30 million right there. That's enough to get you pretty much, most of the stars that you'd really want. Not really Trey or like a Levine or anything like that, but it is enough to go get you, some quality pieces. So, can you just even take those 2 guys? It's not even counting, potentially a Rui Hachimura or, throwing in a Jalen Hood-Schifino or, it just, you got to figure that part out, right? I like JJ. I think JJ is going to do good. I think JJ is. I think if anyone kind of get LeBron to adjust and make changes to his game, it's probably JJ. But again, like you even if JJ out the gate is excellent, say he has great rotations, great timeout calling, great play, offensive execution, all of it. Let's say the Lakers look great, but if they don't have the talent, it doesn't matter. Don't have the talent, they're not winning or going very far, right? You gotta put together the roster. And I really hope that the Lakers, look, I trust Rob Pelinka. I know a lot of people don't, but Rob Pelinka has shown that he can turn some water into wine. But he's also not going to just make a trade to make a trade, which I like. I think a lot of people get caught up on that. Like, they have to make a trade, like at the trade deadline. It's like, Rob Pelinka told you, like, there was nothing there. Everything else, all these deals that people were making, they were trying to fleece us. What those teams were able to trade for that guy, we would have had to pay double. Right? Eventually, there's going to be a team or two that are like, hey, you know what? Like, again, look at Utah with the Russell Westbrook thing. Everyone swore for a year and a half that the Lakers had zero shot of trading Russell Westbrook. Oh, there's no way. It's going to take 2 firsts just to go get or just to unload Russell Westbrook. That's not even counting to get actual players back and blah, 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 blah. And we were able to get enough talent in to where we were able to get to the conference finals that year. So they were on there, right? And even the things that people hold JJ Redick, or not JJ Redick, Rob Pelinka against him, right? Weren't even him. Right? He had a deal. He didn't want Russell. He was never in talks to trade for Russell Westbrook until Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook went to Anthony Davis's house after hanging out at Summer League, I think it was. They're handing out courtside at Summer League. All the rumor mills were going around. And then they went back to Anthony Davis's house, had the conversation about all of them teaming up and went and doing whatever they had to do to win a championship. And then Jeannie tells Rob, get the deal done. Rob Pelinka had a deal finalized, ready to go for Buddy Hield. And then DeMar DeRozan himself said in an interview with, I think it was Taylor Rooks, said, I thought the deal was done for me to go to Lakers. I thought I was going to be a Laker. And then all of a sudden, Russell Westbrook thing happened, right? Like, again, that wasn't Rob Pelinka. People talk about, he blew up the team. He didn't. That was LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Jeannie Buss. And then people forget, the Lakers missed out on Kawhi. Rob immediately pivoted and was able to build a championship team, won the championship, and then the next year upgraded the roster. Literally upgraded. Everyone was talking about how, he should be GM of the year and was praising him as basically fleecing the rest of the league, signed the 2 6 men of the year, brought in Marc Gasol, at the buyout market ended up getting Andre Drummond. And we probably go back to back. We probably win 2 straight years if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt. Because you got to remember, LeBron James dealt with a major injury that year, and he was on one leg. Dennis Schroeder was not the same. Lakers were still one of the top teams in the league. LeBron James, Dennis Schroeder, and Anthony Davis, those 3 were the best, had the best 3-man percentage in the league that season. They were like a plus, I think it was like 12.5 between those 3 guys. And then LeBron got hurt, Schroeder got COVID. It was never the same when he came back. He just wasn't. Go look at his numbers post him getting sick. There were questions like, does he have a respiratory issue? What's going on here? And then Anthony Davis gets hurt against Phoenix, who we were up 2-1. Looked like we were about to go up 3-1. They had no answer for Anthony Davis. We looked like we were about to coast through that series and make a play for the NBA Finals. And, that's all she wrote. And then the Russell Westbrook thing happened. So, again, I trust Rob Pelinka. Right? You got your coach. Got everything you need. Now let's build a proper roster. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think gotta get a proper roster, gotta get a proper team? Do you think that you should run it back? Do you think that, go trade for a star? Do you think however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.